This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? Well, today we're starting out by not planting something, and I'm always on the lookout for cool fall weather crops. And I was at Chapin's greenhouse in Baldwin doing a story, and these are all started from seed at the greenhouse. They are organic, but we have dealt with our rabbit. Now we have a serious groundhog problem. I chased a huge groundhog out of here. There's no way to keep him out, and so let me show you what we're going to do to deal with that problem. Well, animal lovers, you're not going to like this, but I have to trap this groundhog because you can't have a garden and have a groundhog. He's coming over in that corner there. He's actually dug rocks out of there. Everything I've done to try and keep him out of here, and he is a monster. And so we're going to start off by baiting it with fresh apples. And the trick about baiting for groundhogs is to only leave the trap open during the day. You don't want to catch what you could catch at night, which could be a possum, a raccoon, or worse yet, a skunk. So we're just going to throw a few apples in there, and I've got some old ones in there, but we always try and do fresh. But then we make a little line out here, so he sees one, he eats it, another, and works his way in. Hopefully we'll get him. Then we're going to release him out into a park somewhere where he'll be happy and not around anyone's garden. Next up, we're going to plant some actual hardy mums, and they really are hardy. It is that time of the year again for planting mums. We see signs all the time in the nursery saying, hardy mums. Well, guess what? Most of them are not hardy. Nothing wrong with planting them, getting some color right now, right, Max? But these are called igloo mums, and they are perennial. Well, we're going to test to see if they're perennial, coming back year after year. And I've got some yellow ones and some white ones here, and you might say, well, how do you know if they're yellow or white? There's no flowers on them. Whenever I'm buying any mums, I'm always buying them when they're tightly budded like this. We'll get a longer bloom time out of them, but we just look at that little plant tag to see the color on them. And I'm just going to plant in this bed here, put a few planting holes in, some compost, put the mums in, give them some water. And the nice thing is, you know how I love to plant when we're going to get rain. And sometime later this afternoon we're getting rain, and that makes life a lot easier. But we will put a little bit of water on them. So let's get our planting holes dug. Oh, God, it feels good to get your hands dirty, that's for sure. Well, I'm sure you've figured out by now, I always get these plants established with a good watering, even though we have rain coming. Boy, I hope we get that rain. I hope it does not miss us. Now, gardening, a lot of times is like fashion, and there are other things that people are planting in the fall this time of the year for color, and I want to show you those next. I'm going to get you guys started off right. Well, speaking of fashion, good guys wear black. This is what I'm talking about. Instead of mums, gardeners are putting in celosia, which is an annual, and ornamental peppers, which of course is an annual. The celosia can last till about a hard freeze, so you're getting a long, long time of color. The pepper, first frost is going to be done. Those peppers are actually edible, but they are so hot I don't think you'd want them. I love hot stuff. I might dehydrate them or something. We'll see. Well, they can go anywhere in the garden. Now I've got some other cool fall plants to put in, but those are going to last for a lot longer than these. One of the great things about being a garden writer, some of the gifts that you get, this came from Pete Chapin. He's the owner of Chapin's Greenhouse, and I was out there for a story, and the story's called, I Wish They Would Grow This. It's about plants that nurserymen love, like this zebra iris, and they haven't quite caught on with the gardeners yet. I think you'll enjoy the story. It's in today's paper. And I also brought some plants here that are great fall pollinator plants. Let's get them in the ground. Well, I think I found the perfect place for this zebra iris that Pete gave me. Right next to this one we planted a couple weeks ago. It's got white and green foliage, but I love this one that has the gold and green, and it's a really thick gold variegation. And you know how it is planting gift plants. From now on, whenever this blooms or whenever I look at it, I'm thinking of Pete Chapin, and I'm sure you do the same. Let's get those asters in, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them and why we're putting them in this late in the season. Well, it is the calm before the storm. All of a sudden we have bright sunshine, and we'll take it. The reason we're putting these asters in so late, first off, they're available right now, all blooming like this. These are perennials. They will come back year after year, but the reason we love them is because they are these late bloomers and they provide a food source for pollinators. We grow a lot of plants for pollinators, and a late bloomer like this will get them ready for the winter. And I got some compost here, same thing we've been doing all season long. It's got a nice planting hole. Those need to be broken up a little bit. We'll get them in the ground, get them watered. Then we're going to finish up, but I've got one thing to show you, a pretty cool tomato. Well, I love growing weird tomatoes. This is one called Green Tiger, and I got it from a place called Planet Earth Greenhouse, and the seeds come from a place I love called Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And it's a green tomato when it's ripe. That's a leap of faith for most people, but I know it's nice and soft and it's changed color. And oh, can't believe tomato season's almost over. Let's finish up. Heaven. Well, recently my Everybody Gardens family got together for our garden symposium. It's the first time we all were together, and boy, I'm telling you what, we had a blast. Lots of prizes, garden information, and some snacks too. If you'd like to be part of the club, you can join online. That's also a place where you can see more blog posts, photos, videos, stories. Now, until next week, I'm rating the tomatoes before this rain comes, and certainly getting a few more green tigers because they're wonderful. We'll see you then. Ready, Max?